Welcome to Trust, Then Know, the Jackie Boyd Podcast, a podcast providing education, information, and mostly inspiration that will help you become the best version of yourself. Join host Jackie Boyd for engaging and intriguing conversations. Now, Trust, Then Know, the Jackie Boyd Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 6th episode of my podcast, Trust and Know, the Jackie Boyd Podcast. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Thank you so very much for tuning in for these last 5 episodes. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you for being encouraging. Thank you so very much. We are on every second and fourth Tuesday of every month on all of your major podcast platforms. And I always am bringing someone here who has something to say to inspire you, encourage you, and educate you. The Jackie Boyd Podcast is all about helping you become the best version of yourself through information, education, but mostly inspiration. So I am so excited tonight because I have a sister here who has something to say. Thank you, Latrese Hargrave, the queen of new construction.
Yes.
And she's going to come to us tonight and talk about so many things as it relates to new beginnings, new homes.
Yes.
And we're going to realize that homes are not just physical homes.
Mm-hmm.
Homes are also our temple and our body. So Latrese, thank you so much for being my guest tonight. I'm so excited.
Yes.
So excited. So sis,
Yes.
you are the queen of new construction.
Yes.
So
yes.
talk to us first about that. Let me just say to you, Latrese is an entrepreneur at heart.
Mm-hmm.
This young lady has had, I think you had your first business before you were 20.
Yes. Yes.
And she owned her first home before
Yes.
you were 20.
Yes.
So she's been in this entrepreneurship game, in this real estate game for a very, very long time. So she is definitely an authority on that. So she's going to talk to us about that tonight. So Latrese, just kind of bring us up to how you got the title of the Queen of New Construction.
Well, just to echo what you just said, Jackie, as you know, entrepreneurship is something that has been rooted into me since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
I've been self-employed from selling body wraps to credit restoration, you name it, I've been in business. But what has always been near and dear to me is helping clients, just helping them achieve their goal, and home ownership came upon that. As you know, that you and I started a long time ago in general real estate. And I quickly realized during that time that there's a space with real estate for everything from investing. And I've done that. I've done investing. I've done general. I've done pretty much a little bit of everything when it comes to real estate. But what stuck out to me the most is new construction.
New construction.
So even when I was still in general real estate, I just developed a passion and a drive for new construction real estate. And from that, I just proudly announced myself and identified as your queen of new construction.
The queen of new construction. So you pretty much, because you've sold for several builders, right?
Yes.
Toll Brothers.
Yes.
Miranda.
Yes.
LGI.
Yes.
Lennar. Okay.
And
who haven't you sold?
I know, right? And I started as a sitting agent with Adams Homes. So kudos to all of the many wonderful builders, from semi-customs to production builders. There is a house and a fit for everyone that's out there.
Got you. The one thing I say to customers when they're looking for homes and they talk about new construction, is like you said, there's a difference between production builders and custom builders. And then you have those builders who are in between.
Yes.
Like you said, you can pretty much find what you want. You can find the floor plan, the size, 2-story, 1-story. Just talk to us about how customers feel like that feeling of a new home. But when it's a new home, your home for the first time, no one's ever lived in it. Just talk to us about how that feeling is.
I think the biggest thing is it's an open canvas. I think that even with production builders and move-in ready homes, because it's brand new, no one has ever been in it, you can make this your diva den. You can make this the man cave.
I love the diva den.
Yes. And you can personalize each room according to what fits you.
Gotcha.
So you can have the exact same floor plan, but come into the home and it be completely different.
Got it.
So it gives you an open canvas and you can make it your own.
So now talk to us about, I know at the beginning of the year, like the best time to buy or sell is usually spring and summer, right?
Yes.
But a lot of folk are like buzzing at the beginning of the year about selling their homes and looking for new homes. How does new construction, how does the beginning of the first quarter of the year impact new construction sales? Or not sales necessarily, but just new construction in general?
Yes, I would say that really the time to buy is yesterday. With interest rates
Right.
fluctuating the way that they are,
Mhm.
you get so many more incentives when purchasing with a new construction builder.
Okay.
The builder has just more opportunity to be able to incentivize, buy down the rate.
Okay.
We're in control over so much, so we are able to cut costs and be able to pass that savings back on to the buyer.
Got you.
So even in this time where everybody's thinking all of the specials are gone and let's wait till summer, don't wait.
Don't wait.
Buy yesterday. I
Okay.
tell everyone everyone who comes in, don't get so focused on the purchase price,
Right.
but the interest rate.
Okay.
And because right now the interest rates are fluctuating, I think in general market, what you guys are like at 7%.
Yeah.
Yes, where
Mhm.
we are buying down and we're able to offer right now in certain builders as low as 4.99% fixed
Wow.
interest rate.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. I guess because when you are a production builder, you buy in bulk, either land or whatever.
Mhm.
That's how you're able to get
Yes.
that interest rate down like that?
I would say the biggest thing that separates us from like your semi-customs or resale is that, like you just said, we're able to do everything. We own the land, we do the developing, we do the marketing, we do the financing, we
Mhm.
do everything one-stop shop.
Got
And
it.
because we do that, that's the savings that the builder gets, which we're able to cut out the middleman. So we cut out that fourth person involved,
Okay.
and that's the savings we're able to pass back on to the customer.
Got you. That makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
I understand that.
And we also have our preferred lender, the title company.
Okay.
Everything's in-house. So again, that's more savings when you use our preferred lender. That's more savings that you're going to receive on this end versus you have the option to do what you want.
Got it.
But if you're in for savings, then you
Mhm.
definitely want to go with new construction.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And a lot of new construction builders pay your closing costs. Like I said, they're giving you a option to buy down the rate. They may have some, packages where all the appliances are included. I mean, that's pretty huge.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a major incentive.
Okay.
And a lot of the builders have from the washer and dryer, stainless steel appliances, a
Mhm.
lot of the upgraded features that when you go to a design studio, you're
Mhm.
paying an additional cost for that.
Wow.
So I've been able to be on both sides of the spectrum. So
Okay.
even though I can appreciate semi-custom builders or
Yeah.
even custom builders, you go to that design studio and that price can go up a
Okay.
lot. So if you're a first-time home buyer, I definitely encourage you to consider
New
new
construction.
construction,
Mhm.
definitely a production builder.
Okay. So let's talk about the different types. So we have custom,
Mm-hmm.
semi-custom,
Semi-custom,
and production.
correct.
So can you
Yes.
kind of go through what each of those mean?
Yes.
Mhm.
So when we start with custom, that's
Mhm.
just basically a builder like ICI, where you
Mhm.
come in from the ground up and you
Mhm.
can pretty much from the flooring to the walls to the ceiling, every single thing you customize each and every piece.
Wow.
It's almost like you bought a lot of land and you
Mhm.
figure out exactly what you want in that particular home.
But even custom builders have floor plans.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I've sold some ICI homes, and so
Mhm.
I remember being told, as long as it's under the roof, we can move walls, we can do this as long as it's under the roof. We
Exactly.
can't add another wing. But
Correct.
if it's under the roof, and
Correct.
they have multiple floor plans, we can move around and make it custom, like you said.
Absolutely,
Okay, got you.
absolutely.
Okay.
Semi-custom is very similar.
Okay.
You pretty much can do anything interior design. You
Mhm.
can resurface structural, not so much.
Got it.
So the outskirt and the exterior of the home pretty much is going to be exactly what you're getting. It's
Okay.
once you come inside that we can make and personalize a lot of the changes.
Got it.
With certain builders, I know you go to 2 days at the design studio.
Okay.
That's 2 full days. They give you champagne. It's a whole experience.
Got it.
So
Mhm.
it's almost like purchasing another house
Wow.
because you can personalize the home just that much. Whereas with the custom, you're pretty much using custom pieces. Those pieces are pretty much catered directly to you as an
Okay.
individual. The
Mhm.
semi-custom is a little bit more open where like everybody's getting to choose from. You got like 15 different
Colors or
colors,
types.
door
Okay.
handles,
Okay.
things of that nature.
Okay.
Yes.
Understood. So let's talk about that for a minute before you give the description of a production builder.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell my customers, if they're building with a custom builder or a semi-custom builder, don't finance a door handle. In other words, because you can go in there and everything's so pretty,
Exactly.
right? And you're like, oh, I want this, I want that.
Exactly.
But you don't realize that you're financing that over a 30-year mortgage.
Exactly.
There's certain things you want to make sure you get your big ticket items.
Correct.
But
Correct.
your flooring, maybe
Yes.
your cabinets, and
Mhm.
even some of those you may think about. But you
Mhm.
don't want to finance the little things
No.
because you can change those door handles yourself.
You sure
Or
can.
have Handyman Joe come in and change the door handles.
Absolutely.
So talk to us about that.
So that's the benefit of a production builder.
Okay.
We have pretty much done surveys, and experts say like the lighting. A lot of times we give you like the standard lighting, but the chandelier, the ceiling fan, we leave that on up to you.
Okay.
Now there once was a time we were including those types of things, and then we had customers coming back, no, I don't want this, I don't want that. And then it became a bigger savings. You can go to Home Depot, you can go to Lowe's,
Right.
instead of financing a lot of those things that would be options and that you would be paying so much more for.
Got it.
Now they're already included, and we cut back on the things like what you just said, a doorknob or something where you're spending an additional $10,000 to finance that for 30 years.
Right.
When now everything that you need is already included. And if
Got
you
it.
want to enhance and personalize it, you can do that yourself.
And that's where having a realtist or realtor really helps, because you want to make sure you're guiding your customer. Even though you go to the new construction and they have a site agent, it's always good to come with your realtor, your realtist, because that realtor or realtist can help you guide through those things. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to go to the design center and now you've increased the debt of the purchase.
Exactly.
And you may have increased it to the point that you've increased yourself out of the purchase.
Exactly. I believe that it's a partnership. I love my realtors. They're my best friends because we communicate together, because you understand the customer. I'm building a rapport with the customer, and now they trust the whole entire process.
It's a team.
Yes, yes. And so we walk through this together, and together the realtor and the site agent are able to just produce amazing results versus the person coming in all by themselves.
Right.
And then I need that support as well. So it's good a lot of times if I'm not able to communicate with the customer, I have someone else that I can go ahead and say, these are the steps. You understand the business. And so we're basically tag teaming together.
I love that. Absolutely. So so we talked about custom, we talked about semi-custom. So go through exactly what a production builder is.
So a production builder, easy steps. The key thing is we can close within 30 to 60 days. Most production builder have inventory ready homes. Whereas if you were semi-custom or custom, you could be waiting 10 to 12 months for build time. So the biggest thing is if you're ready to move and you want to go ahead and, and get started, we can get started, get you under contract, and walk you through the entire process. Within the next 30 days, you'll be closing.
So a production builder actually builds homes. We learned this in real estate school. They're spec homes.
Exactly.
So it's the speculation that the buyers are going to come.
Yes.
So they build so many homes. They don't have a name attached to it. They don't have a buyer attached to it. But the speculation is that they are going to come and buy these homes.
Exactly.
So they build so many in their communities with the notion that people are going to come and purchase them.
Exactly.
So
and usually a production builder is offering different floor plans. The particular builder I'm with now, we have 19 different floor plans.
Wow.
We have over 22 communities from St. Johns County all the way through Duval and Clay County. So you have an option from villas, single family, townhomes, you name it. We have a house to fit for you. Yes. And the good news is that you always have something on demand ready. So if you're a person like, okay, I need to wait into, 6 months, you know that this is the floor plan, this is what you're moving into, and that's going to be your house down the street. And you'll know exactly what it's going to look like. You'll know all of the finishes, everything.
Got it.
Right before you move in.
So can you opt to customize anything with production builders?
It depends on the builder. So there are some builders that do inventory only, then that's it. But then we do have some options where the majority of the homes are inventory, which you're going to get the most incentives and savings on. But if you do say, hey, no, there's some key things that we want to have in this house, and you can afford it and it's within your budget, we'll negotiate, and we can make that happen for you. We don't have a problem with that.
Is negotiable.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Yes, yes. So if that's really important to you, and that's the key thing, figure figuring out what's the most important thing for you.
Right.
And if that is a deal breaker, then that is what we will be doing.
Got you. Wonderful. I love it. I love it. So obviously you said that new construction was your passion.
Yes.
And you prefer that over general.
Yes.
So tell me why. we had some funny stories.
Oh, we have had some
Can you just tell the funny story
oh
about the cat?
Oh my goodness. Yes. We will start with one. I'll say I'm an empath. So I'm a giver. So with general real estate, what I realize is that my customers sometimes could take advantage of me and have me showing houses from Georgia all the way to Palm Coast. And here I am, spend a whole day because I love my people. I'm passionate about that. And
you love what you do.
And I love what I do.
Right.
And when you're representing the buyer, you don't always know what's going to be on the other side of that door when you're going in to show a home.
Right.
You schedule the showing, but a lot of times you don't have time, depending on what our schedule looks like, to actually preview the home before getting in. But as you know, you do your showing and they say all of the animals are all put up. Everything is good to go. The house is clean. And so we have our code. We go into the house. I'm thinking, okay, I'm showing this home. And this house particularly, they had a bird, they had dogs, they had every fur baby you could think of. But they were all in the cage. I could see them all put up. So I felt safe, you know? And then all of a sudden we opened up the primary bedroom suite. And a black cat just went across my leg. And I was just like, oh my goodness.
Right.
So I lost my composure.
Okay.
Because as you know, I'm not a big fan. I mean, some cute fur babies, yes. But when I don't know what it is, I lost my composure. And I go running out the house. And
the customer was still inside the house.
The customer still inside. And I'm calling the listing agent like, you told me all of the animals were going to be in put up in a cage. And she's like, it's a cat. You can't lock a cat up. And I'm just like, I'm done. You know what? And I think I end up calling you like, sis. And then that's when you introduced me to your cat. And I said, you have a cat? And you were like, yes, it's okay. It's not what you think. So yeah, that was like my beginning journey to leaving general.
That was the beginning to the end.
Yes.
Got it. Oh my goodness. And then there was another story of a home that unfortunately had a fire.
Yes.
And they wanted you to list it.
Yes.
You couldn't understand that.
Yes. So the house was literally falling apart and should have been just condemned. And it was a close friend of mine. They used to be my neighbor. And it was just, I just felt like if somebody of the health authorities came in, they would tell us to shut this house down. This is not a house that should be listed. And having that conversation with a homeowner, it's really hard for them to conceptualize that. And then again, that was when I got the understanding new is just the best thing for me. I can relate to that. I can share brand new. No one has ever been in this. And so that is also
that's how the path.
Yes.
Okay. And I think it's so important for agents to understand that you need to know where your strength lies. Like
absolutely,
we are not good at all things.
No, we are not.
And we are excellent in some. In some we're mediocre.
Correct.
So they tell you to find your niche, right? To find your passion.
Correct.
And really focus on that.
Yes.
So that's the thing. And I am a general real estate realtist and realtor. And I love it.
Yes.
It does give you the diversification of being able to serve a variety of different customers. But I particularly like relocation because I relocated from Baltimore to Jacksonville. And I remember when I came here, I worked for a company, CSX, and they brought everybody representing Jacksonville to Baltimore to talk to us about Jacksonville. And so I just realized how when you're moving from a place that you've called home all your life to a new place, that can be kind of traumatic.
Yes.
And if you don't have people who are supporting you and advising you, directing you, you don't know. So I have a very special place in my heart for people who relocate because I know how it was for me.
Yes.
So you finding your realization that, hey, new is for Latrese.
Yes.
And so you were able to clearly, with a clear conscience and heart, general is not for me.
No, it is
And you
not.
have not looked back since.
I have not. I specialize in new construction, and I still am able to help all buyers.
Mhm.
If I have a customer that is in need of a resale, I don't have a problem with,
Right.
referring them
And you
because
collaborate with your
exactly,
partners. Mhm.
exactly. So I identify what is in the best need of that buyer
Okay.
and help point you in the right direction.
Wonderful.
So I'm going to always set out the path. Hopefully, I would hope you would choose new construction, but as long as you're not renewing a lease, perfectly fine with me.
Got it.
Mhm.
Got it. So that's a great segue into my next question. So a lot of people who are renting,
Mhm.
I've heard this like, oh well, I don't have to take care of anything. I'd rather
Mhm.
keep renting. I don't have to. But when they look at that number of how
Mhm.
much money they've paid over the
Correct.
course of how long,
A year, 5 years.
yes,
Yes,
it can be mind blowing.
it can be.
And that is an opportunity to introduce them to purchasing. But I think sometimes people who have rented, they just feel like, the responsibility about this is what I don't want to have to take care of anything. I don't want to have to. But the
Correct.
reality is you're actually building someone else's wealth
Absolutely.
and not your own.
Correct.
Talk to us about that.
So we have a philosophy, why rent when you can own?
Okay.
And literally, I break it down in black and white for you. And I said, it looks as though you share with me you're paying, let's just say $1,500 a month in rent.
Mhm.
How much is that within a year's time? How
Mhm.
much is that within 5 years time?
Yeah.
And they basically, and it's like, do you feel like that's a lot of money? And it's
Mhm.
like, wow.
Mm.
When you see it on paper, yes,
Mhm.
$90,000, that's a lot of money.
Mhm.
So let's just say if you had $90,000 right now, what would you do with that money? And the first thing is like, I would buy a house. So
Mhm.
if the mindset changes when you
see it.
yes, and it's like, do you know how you get to that?
Wow.
You get to that when you have equity in the house. You get to
Mhm.
that when you're saving. You're never going to get this type of savings and build up this type of money continuing to rent. And so I always ask them, like, has your rent ever gone up?
Right.
And most people that's been renting is like, of course.
Of course.
And do you think it'll continue to go up?
Yes.
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 And so we have been doing studies and surveys shows that on the north side of Jacksonville by 2030, a a studio to a one bedroom apartment
Yeah.
will be $2,900 a month.
Oh,
Just for a studio to a
Mm.
one bedroom.
Mm.
Can you imagine paying almost $3,000 a month for a one bedroom apartment? And a lot of them are like, I'm close to it right now.
Right.
But they're not in a one bedroom, but they're like, and it's just like, well, if you're already there, you know that it's going to go up. You have a hard time getting your security deposit back.
Mm.
At least land appreciates.
Right.
It's the only thing that you can purchase
That
and
appreciates.
it appreciates.
Yeah.
You buy the car, you buy our shoes, jewelry, everything else.
Mhm.
When it's used, you have to go back on the price.
Mm.
But a home is the only thing that you could purchase 10 years ago
Right.
and see $100,000
Right.
increase on it.
Right.
And so then it starts opening up the mind to, you know what? That might be, you might be right. You
Right.
might be onto something.
Right.
So in the end, when you say that it's better to own versus rent, then shouldn't we go ahead and fire your landlord today? And usually most people are like, you know what? It just starts you thinking.
Right.
It gives you
Gets the wheels turning.
Yeah, opens your mind to a different thought process.
Mhm.
Like, I am just throwing away money.
Right.
And I do need to invest into myself and see a return on that investment.
Got you. Love it. And you said a very key thing. What else could you purchase and see the increase in value almost immediately?
Correct.
Sometimes you'll build a house and
Mhm.
before you get in it, if you're building it 6 months down the road, it's already increased in value.
Exactly.
So imagine that 6 months turns to 3 years or 5 years, whatever.
Mhm.
You're seeing that value increase.
Exactly.
And you can borrow against that. That's equity. If you ever had an emergency, you can get a HELOC, a home line of credit, and borrow against that money. It's because it's your house, your money. So there are definitely benefits to not some, all in comparison.
All.
Exactly.
And I think the other key thing about new construction is it gives us the opportunity to educate the buyer.
Okay.
You have so many first-time home buyers that are clueless to the information, what we just said.
Okay.
They're looking like, okay, I've been renting all this time. It can't be that bad.
Right.
And usually when you're going into a resale situation,
Yeah.
a lot of times there's no one really sitting down, breaking down to you. You're just like, okay, whatever it is you want, then I'm
Right.
going to get that for you.
Got it.
But we sit here and we go over a game plan on why it is important for you to change that mindset
Right.
and go into home ownership.
Got you. So, girl, listen, you can see why she the queen of new construction.
I'm very passionate about it. Yes.
And I think the thing is too, educating.
Yes.
You have
yes,
to educate them.
yes,
That, and like you
yes.
said, it gives you an opportunity to really educate them.
Yes.
I love that. So you're with
I'm with
Lennar.
Lennar, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And I know right now there are a lot of incentives going into the spring.
Oh, yes. We have amazing incentives right now. We're doing buy down for the interest rate. And we also offer a home buying solution program for those who are not in the position at this very moment to purchase a home. Let's just say you have some credit challenges. And I know a lot of first time home buyers are like, I'm not ready yet. I'm still working on my credit. Allow us to help you with that because we can still do a contingent purchase agreement, get you started with the process while you're working on those items and still have you scheduled to close and still educating you on how to make this purchase and create that path for you.
I love that.
Yes.
So you actually work with them to get them ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's some other builders that do that as well. I know D.R. Horton does that.
Yes.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because it takes the excuses away.
Yes.
From the buyer. And it really the builder is actually helping them. They're helping them to be successful.
Exactly.
I love
and
that.
educating them on understanding what does DTI mean, your debt to income ratio. I had a situation where a young lady, she's been renting and you couldn't have told her that she doesn't have enough money to purchase a house.
Okay.
Well, come to find out, 75% of her income is being ate up by debt.
Wow.
We needed a 50-50 on the back end for her to move forward, 47-50 on the front end. Well, she had a 62 on the front end and 75 on the back end.
Wow.
And it's like a lot of times you don't even realize that you're living outside of your means because you think that by the end of the paycheck, I wait till the next check and I don't have any money, but all the bills got paid.
Right.
You think that's normal. But it's like, no, you still want to have money in reserves. So we're going to teach you how to budget. We're going to teach you how to finance because the bank is not going to give you a loan if you're not approved for it.
Right.
So we're going to reset some things. We're going to learn how to pay off some debt. And you may have to push back on a couple of things.
Gotcha.
You may not be able to do some of the extravagant lifestyle things, but in the long run, you're going to appreciate this because you're making an investment into yourself.
Financial literacy is so important. You know, even for us who aren't buying houses.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just having a reset, look at your debts, realize, like you said, are you living outside of your means?
Exactly.
How can you what things can you cut back on? If you're a Starbucks person, I know I took a financial class and they said, hey, what things do you do regularly? What do you do every day? And so let's add that up. This is what you do every day. How much do you spend in a week? How much you spend in a month? How much you spend in a year? And when you look at that number, again, the number can blow your mind.
Exactly.
Imagine if you were to cut that back by, instead of doing it every day, maybe twice a week.
Exactly.
You know, or whatever, or once a week. So it does help you look at your habits and make you look at them and say, hey, do I need to make some changes?
You have to restart, you know, and that's okay. Sometimes you have to take a step back so that we can be able to grow, to have that opportunity to rescale and say, okay, this is what the future is going to look like.
Right. Got it. All right. So we're going to segue. So, I mean, so listen, to all of my listeners and viewers, you can hear how educated this woman is.
Thank you.
She knows her stuff when it comes down to new construction.
Yes.
And because she went through the whole general real estate, realized that it was not for her, she's able to speak about knowing what works for you.
Correct.
So thank you, Latrese.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So now listen, when we came on, we talked about how this is new beginnings, new homes, new beginnings. Home obviously is a physical place where you live, and you take care of your family, and you rest, and you find refuge and recovery, all of that. But home is also our bodies. Our bodies are our home.
Yes.
This is where we house so much of who we are. All of who we are is in our bodies. So Latrese actually, and we're gonna probably have to do a part 2 on this.
Yes.
You know, but she actually had a health scare last year, and her home was challenged.
Yes, yes.
And Treese, just give us, you know, in a short period of time, we'll do a part 2.
Yes,
Just
absolutely.
give us how that home, the scare of it, how it changed you, and where you are with it today.
as you said, Jackie, your home is your temple.
Mhm.
And it starts right here.
Yeah.
Your mindset.
Yeah.
This is a key thing.
Yeah.
I have a philosophy, your health is your wealth. You cannot put a price tag on that.
Mhm.
And when your health or anything like that is shattered, there's no price tag that you can do to bring that back up. So you definitely want to make sure you're taking care of this temple from the inside out. I was very good with taking care of it on the outside. I even worked out. I did a whole lot of things. But overall, things can still happen to your temple. Things can still happen to your house, just like a storm, a tornado, or things like that. So you need to have something in place so that you're mindful when these things happen. You have a more open mindset to saying, okay, I'm okay with going to the physician. I'm okay for taking medication.
Because you weren't okay with going.
I was not. And my recent health scare has given me just a new mindset for medication. It's grown me spiritually, mentally, physically. So my whole outlook on closing out chapter 2024 and going into 2025, I'm more intentional. I'm more intentional about when I wake up, what I eat, what I drink, what I even focus on, the things that I put into my body, the energy, the people who are surrounded around me. I'm in a space right now. This temple is so important that I can't shatter it, just like you would if you had your home. You would get insurance. You would make sure that you had safety measures in place. And that's the same thing that I've done with this temple that we house every single day, especially up here. The mindset is key.
Got it. Love it. We are definitely going to have you back because I want you to go deeper into the whole scare and how you, by the grace of God, you recovered from that and how it did change your mindset.
It did.
Because you were a little bit of a conspiracy theorist
about
doctors. But that's changed.
Yes. And that just goes back to trauma. I think everybody in life, nothing just happens. There's purpose for everything. And a lot of times you're dealing with the trauma, and it just took my health scare for me to identify with some of the things that I had internalized with how my mom passed or how doctors treated a different situation. I held so tightly onto those things until it wasn't until my own personal situation now I'm able to release. I'm able to release, and sisters like you encouraging me and stand by my side. And you need a support system. The temple is nothing if you don't have some good people around you to help encourage you. I do believe in you need time for isolation, but you still need to have people. We're not an island, and if the Creator wanted you to be here all by yourself, He wouldn't have created all of these other wonderful people to be in your life.
That is so key. We're not an island. We need each other. We are interdependent. We can be independent, but we are interdependent.
Absolutely.
And you need people to pray for you. You need people to speak truth to you. You need people to, as I say, keep it 100 and a buck. If I'm your friend, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Exactly.
Even if you don't like it. Because that's important.
And that's another key thing, walking in your truth. Sometimes we are in denial. We want to normalize being perfect. It's okay. We're all imperfect people living in an imperfect world. And so it's okay we need to get to the point where we can normalize, create safe spaces where people can say, you know what, I'm not feeling my best today. I'm not in the right headspace, and be okay with being able to share that and not feel judged like, oh no, I always have to be on. I always have to be in a perfect space. And we recently played a game at a gathering I was with. We listen and we don't judge. And so everybody went around the room and they shared their different stories. And it was one particular story. And when I first heard, I was like, say what? And I like clutched my pearls. And by the end, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind having that in my life myself. So sometimes it just takes a moment to listen, process, and after you completely listen to a person, you start thinking, hey, you know what, I actually can relate to what you're saying.
Because when you only listen to yourself, you don't allow other people to be heard, you only have your perspective.
Correct.
And we have so many perspectives and that's how we learn.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it is very important to listen. Thank you, love.
Oh, thank you.
I love this girl.
Love you too.
You have so much depth to you.
You're my energy twin.
Yeah, we are energy twins. You have so much depth, and continue to do what you're doing. listen, guys, she's writing a memoir.
Yeah.
There's so many things to this girl.
So that'll be in part 2.
That'll be
so
part
I'll come
2.
back and share that with you guys.
That's right. So listen, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Trust and Know, the Jackie Boy Podcast. I promise you, I'm always going to bring you people who have something to say, something that's going to help you to be the better version of yourself through information, education, but mostly inspiration. We are on every second and fourth Tuesday of every month on all of your major podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can hear us and you can see us on YouTube. So please tune in every second and fourth Tuesday of every month. And listen, I want to leave you with this. Whatever you have to do, get the education you need, get the information you need, but mostly get the inspiration you need to be the best version of yourself. And so until next time, bye.
Thank you for listening and watching this episode of Trust, Then Know, the Jackie Boyd Podcast. We hope this episode has left you informed, intrigued, and inspired to become your best self. Remember to tune in every second and fourth Tuesday of the month and trust, then know.